Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Hi, evening. Welcome back to another edition of the Patriots Touchback Podcast. This is actually the first podcast of the year because we're now into the new NFL 2023 season. So I'm my host DJ, and today I'm with Henrik, Nick, and Luke. How are you all doing, gents? All right?
Yes,
all good. DJ, yeah.
Nice. So just touching base on what we've currently done in the last couple of weeks. So as you're aware, the free agency is now, the window's open, and we're starting to see teams sign in left, right, and centre. They've also started to cut as well. So I think it's a good chance for us to go over a couple of things that the Patriots have done in the last couple of weeks. And then obviously we'll move on to where we feel that we need to fill some holes, and then we'll touch base on a couple of things in regards to the draft situation. So I'll kick off, and I'll start off by saying I thought the Pats were one of the slow starters of the league, I think. So you got that 2-day period of that official tampering period, or whatever you call it. It's just 2 days before the actual free agency window opened, and you started to see teams where they were just like already going in and signing players. But I felt we kind of do this, and quite often in free agency we'll just sit back and we'll let all the big guns go and sign the big massive players, the big massive contracts, and then we'll start to kind of weave our way in and seeing where we want to actually pick and on who we want to pick. So I think one of our first players that actually got I think we re-signed, wasn't it? Jonathan Jones, I think, was one of our main ones that we re-signed, and obviously Matthew Slater, he decided to come back for that extra year, which is a great boost, I think, in terms of the special team side of things. We all know that Bill loves the special teams. So that's where I think we've focused a lot of our players this year on special teams. I don't know how you guys are kind of analysing it, but that's how I feel that we are.
To me, Sure. Thank you. To me, it's good that we've been pursuing special teams targets. I think it's been pretty bad the last couple of seasons, and the last regular season game, it was a disaster. We let the Bills score 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns. Disaster. So I like what the Patriots have been doing in terms of special teams so far.
Yeah, I think we brought back Cody Davis, special teams, Joe Cardona, a snapper. We've also got Matthew Slater as well. And then we obviously re-signed, which I think Bill, if I'm not mistaken, did mention that he was probably the best special teams in the NFL at the moment. Is that Chris
Board? Yeah.
I think it's from the Lions.
Yeah. I think he's gonna make an impact. He's fairly experienced, and he's a good special team player. So he'll be good to have as a core, and he has played defensive snaps. So he's a real football player. Before he played for the Lions, he was a Baltimore Ravens player for 4 seasons. So I think Chris Board, it's very Bill Belichick signing. I think he's going to make an impact.
Yeah.
We cut Jake Bailey as well. He went after his fallout with Bill last year. I just looking at the news that came today with Hightower retiring, and the news that obviously, D-Mac retired last week, the week before, whenever it was. I think the fact that Slater agreed to come back for 1 year, if you'd lost all 3 of them, we'd be in some serious trouble. But the fact that Slater's, I think that is a big move
Not just on the field. I think it's a locker room presence as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
So knowledgeable in what he does as well.
Yeah.
I think he'll be coming like a coach down the line as well. I think he won't just disconnect from the Patriots together. I think he'll
he'll be the team
be working
preacher.
behind.
I think that he's said in the past he wants to go into the ministry and become an ordained minister, but I think he could kind of come back as like the spiritual leader, or that they have. It was what was the guy that ended up going to the Houston Texans and being their GM? What was his name?
Nick Casario.
No, Jack.
Easterby.
Jack Easterby. That's it. I had Jack.
So he was. So he might go into that role. So yeah, it's great. Like, I mean, it looks like towards the end of the season we got that Raleigh Webb guy who's technically a wide receiver, but like Slater, he's just a special teamer. I mean, he wears 44 and he's listed as a wide receiver. He's not a wide receiver. So like I think there's been some good improvements there. I think we will be in play for a punter and a kicker as well. But I think let's push that to one side. Let's talk about the other guys first, because the other guys that we enjoy. You can get me talking about punters and kickers all day. So,
but it is pretty late. So let's not go there.
Shut me up and let's move on.
So I like the fact that we signed Jonathan Jones. That we could do a deal. That we could do a deal with him. I'm disappointed that Myers walked out the door for effectively what is the same price that Juju walked in the door. But apparently, although it's the same price, the structure of the contracts would be very different. So
yeah.
And I think Juju's, I mean, as much as I love Myers, I think Juju is a better player. He will give us that yak yardage that Myers won't give us.
Yeah. And
don't get me wrong, I want Jacoby Myers on my team. He is the guy we all four of us have said in the past. We absolutely love him. He could do anything he wants. He'd be a Patriot for life as far as we're concerned. But I would have liked to have seen the two of them brought in. Now they do fulfill a similar role, but I'm happy that we got Smith-Schuster. I think it adds a bit more dynamism to the offense.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of, to me. I'll just say this quickly. I'm disappointed with losing Myers, but I got to say, for each day that goes by, I'm actually feeling better and better about having signed Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he can be a good football player for the Patriots, better than Myers was. If he's knee injuries or any other injury doesn't follow him with the Patriots.
Need a big year from Thornton this year, I think.
Sure. Yeah, we do definitely. But at the same time, I've not heard anybody watching the Patriots practice say like, wow, he's going to develop into a star or a big player. But let's hope he's got something in his fuel tank, because we have a lot of hopes for Tyquan Thornton.
I mean, when I first heard the Myers got signed, didn't he, to the Raiders, and I saw the amount, I was like, okay, I was a bit peed off in like sense. Is that it? Like, why didn't we go and give him the same amount of money, or whereabouts the same similar amount? I mean, I've heard rumors where we just didn't want him anymore, where we didn't even offer him nothing. There's others saying that it wasn't enough, or that Myers did actually want to go to the Raiders from get-go. But then once time goes past and then we sign Juju, and you look at the contract, you think, right, we signed him for the same amount of money that Myers has. But the yards after the catching is by far miles more than what Myers is. And does it upgrade to what we've got now? I think it does. I think with having Juju on the team does make the wide receiver core that little bit better. Now, going back a few years, didn't it take Myers 2 years to get one touchdown? Was
Yeah.
it 2 seasons? Did it take him 2 seasons to get his first?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's for a wide receiver. And I understand that it was Mac's go-to guy, and he's going to lose that.
But Jacoby Myers is not a playmaker, and not saying that Juju Smith-Schuster is one super playmaker, but he's more of a playmaker than Myers.
Yeah. My slight worry with Juju is 1, injury prone. 2, he's got like the off the pitch, and the he's not that.
See, the thing is, he's like, the way I liken him to is he's like Ocho Cinco. He's not
the antics off the
he's
field
not going to get into
helping.
trouble. He's not going to go missing games because he's like a woman beater, or he's he's not.
Yeah.
He's just like, for want of a better term, he's just a bit of an idiot, right? Or
I mean, I wouldn't even go that far.
We're old men now, right?
No, but Juju,
He's still
Juju
young.
is-
He's
Ju-
26.
So I said we're old men judging this young guy. You know what I mean?
No. Speak for yourself, by the way. When it comes to that, old stuff.
Wow.
When it comes down to it,
We'll do Henry.
hold on a second. Juju, he's well liked by teammates, and he never
He is.
made much out of himself, except the week after the Super Bowl. That was the first time I ever heard him say something that was like, that's a bit rude, to be honest. Now I'm sounding like I'm 50 years old, but he seems like a good guy, and as long as he doesn't make too much out of himself, I think he'll be fine.
Like I say, we'll give him a chance, and if we get the Juju Steelers Juju, we've got a decent player there.
But I take the Chiefs Juju as well, because he was good for the Chiefs.
He was good. You remember?
But he wasn't. Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't the one. Yeah, it's third option. He wasn't.
The first one.
You didn't hear him as much. You didn't hear him as much on the field, or he wasn't targeted as much.
After Kelsey, he was definitely targeted most, and he was very productive for the Chiefs because he always delivered. Wasn't Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, but he had good production, I'd say. So, but what I'm concerned about is his knee. I'm not concerned about TikTok or social media, although I hate it, all of that. It's just his knee. And I think as a person, he is motivated to make a mark. I mean, he signed a 1-year deal with the Chiefs because there wasn't that many. There wasn't a huge market for him last year, and this year is the same. I'm sure he wants to prove that he is one of the best receivers in the league, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm all for it as long as we sign somebody else to play alongside him.
Yeah,
or draft one.
I want him to be the number 2.
Yeah, I want him to be a part of the offense, but I don't want him to be the guy.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement, I think.
Yeah. I mean, staying on the receiving core, but moving away from wide receiver. I think Gesicki's an awesome signing.
Yeah.
For what we're paying him.
Yeah.
And you're going to get so much
million.
more production out of him than Jonnu Smith, who was, who's been a big disappointment.
Straight up.
So, I think if Hunter Henry can perform well and Gesicki plays like we expect him to, we're back on 2 successful tight ends. So, see how we go. But
yeah, I love.
I see a Gronk. Similar to Gronk and Gesicki.
He's a kind of a glorified slot receiver. I think you're right with the ball in hand and going up for catches. Definitely,
he would do that.
Yeah,
but from a blocking point of view, he doesn't block at all.
No,
but from a ball, I completely. It's a good comparison, though.
Yeah, well, I see him more as a Kelsey type because they're both almost more receiver than they are tight end. But it's an interesting comparison. Yeah, it's a good signing, I think. Clearly an upgrade over Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, I mean, what a disappointment. I mean, it's quite maddening when you think about it. because he's had the opportunities. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those players where I think his first year he was injured. So he probably struggled in that sense. But then the second year, he just couldn't get to grasp either with the playbook or the sense of how we use the tight ends. It just didn't. At the end of the day, look, we gave it a go, but it didn't work. So it's time to move on.
You think a man as experienced as Jono Smith, you'd think he should be able to get the grips of the playbook. He should be able to understand what's going on. I mean, the fact that I'm taking solace in, all right, we're only saving 3 million on our cap this year, but to save 18 million next year is a bargain.
Yeah.
So I don't think getting rid of Jono Smith now is a this year move. It's a next year move.
Oh, completely. Completely.
So,
and I think it even kind of when you come to making your roster moves at the end, for you getting down to your 53, you'll only want to hold on to 2, maybe 3 tight ends. You won't want a guy like Johnny where the only reason you'd have him on the roster is because it's not his play is that would keep him on the roster. It's his contract is the reason that he would be on the roster. If he was making we'll say a couple of million, like 4 or 5 million, you'd probably just cut ties with him, like we remember we did with. Sorry, go on.
He might have been asked to restructure, and he said no. So
I agree.
That might have happened,
and that's that. And then they obviously had to look for a trade partner or get the car.
Yeah. No, but in general, my thoughts is good riddance. He's probably a decent guy, but man,
and that's the thing is that I always got the impression he was trying hard. Like it wasn't like an effort thing. It was just it didn't work thing. Like I wanted it to work. I wanted to see him annoyed with himself when it wasn't working. It wasn't a kind of, he never gave that bad body language or said anything.
No.
He didn't say things bad about how it was going. It was just don't hate him for it. Just didn't work. Best of luck with the Falcons.
Yeah,
true.
So moving on, we've got some of our noticeable departures. So last night, Damien Harris signed a 1-year deal, I believe. Was with the Bills. Which
I must have missed that. I missed that. Wow.
Yeah. He signed for the Bills.
Wow.
They lost Singleton a few hours before, I think, to the
Bears. I think
wasn't it Miles Saunders that signed for the Bears?
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not sure Mike Singletary has signed with anyone yet.
Singletary went to Chiefs, I think.
All right, yeah. But I'll say this: Harris is a better running back than him, as long as he's without injury.
So, and that's his thing.
Texans. He went to the Texans.
He's often injured, and he is a good running back. He's not explosive. He's a bit of a platter, but he's a good running back, and I always liked him. I
liked him very much.
But it's a shame, but I saw absolutely no way that we were giving him another contract.
Yeah, I mean,
we would have resigned him if it weren't for Ramondre Stevenson. Because Harris is a good player.
It's catch-22 because Harris didn't have unbelievable speed, but he had those safe hands, and he was just a battering ram. And bang, 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 and obviously with taking all those hits comes the injuries. So it's a catch-22. He was a great running back in that he'd attack the line and he'd take some hits, but he'd get the yardage. But the downside of that is every hit you take, is gonna increase the risk of injury. So. That's the price you pay for the position, not the, so many kids in college and high school want to be wide receivers rather than running backs now because there's just, there's so much injury potential in the position and there's no money in it either.
Yeah.
Well, I think this goes back to the way Patriots are actually, they do their running backs. they roll in the running backs. They don't pay, and they will not overpay for a running back because they know they can get.
Because they're always
6.
10 a penny in the draft anyway. You
Yeah,
can get a very decent running back
the 5th
in round 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You can get some decent running backs that aren't even drafted at all.
yeah. No, the type of
where-
running back the Patriots like is the Kevin Folk, James White type pass catching. So those are the only receivers, running backs he likes. I'll miss him as a person, Damien Harris, because he was a good team player. I felt, but I'm excited for Ramondre Stevenson to see him. He had 1,000 yards last year. I think that's awesome. I hope he can get it this year and be more of a.
I honestly don't like players going to rival teams. Like I'm going to see him twice a year. That to me pees me off a bit.
Yeah,
just no like loyalty. It's just money at the end of the day.
Well,
he's got to look after himself at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, get that.
Yeah, but I agree with Dave. But it happens a lot in American sports and in the NFL in particular, and the AFC East divisions. There's like so many players in the AFC East who have played for the Bills, for the Dolphins, and the Patriots.
We do it every year. We sign at least one of those players in the free agent.
Yeah, and you remember we got Stephon Gilmore from the Bills. We got Chris Hogan. I mean, wow, and Wes Welker back in the day.
Yeah. Well, you see them twice a year. You're scouting them twice a year. You know these guys. And even when you're watching tape in, we'll say Miami playing Buffalo, like you'll get tape on them playing your opponents that you know more. So it stands to reason that these guys usually, it's quite incestuous. The divisions, and you do see it in other divisions. I do think the AFC East is quite. It happens quite a lot in the AFC East, but I also think our focus is very AFC East.
Yeah, it happens in other divisions. And AFC North, it happens a lot. I've noticed.
Even like I think even if we want to move on to like Riley Reef, I think he's been around the NFC North. I think a bit as well. So that they're like the
Lions and Vikings.
Yeah, and Bears.
Yeah. So there's perfect example.
It's just more practical to assign players within division.
Mm-hmm. You see them, you know them, and the fact is as well, you probably have a guy on your team that has played with him or played against him twice a year as well. So you can kind of go, what type of guy is he like? What's personality? Will he fit here? Is he good guy? Is he good locker room guy? Is he going to be trouble?
Players give feedback all the time, like during the game and off the game. So I think the Bills kind of know what they're getting with Damien Harris. They're getting a hard-hitting. They're getting a good running back who will be productive for them as long as he's on the field.
A workhorse.
Yeah,
I don't like that the Bills are gonna get to enjoy him, but I'm glad. Somebody, well, I wish him the best, except when they play against the Patriots.
So replacing, obviously, probably Harris is we signed James Robinson as well. Again, it's probably a training camp player where he'll probably battle for. Don't get me wrong, I think Stevenson's going to be our number one running back, but then you got the likes of James Robinson, you've got
Pierre Strong,
the other Harris, Strong. And we'll probably get someone from the draft as well as a running back, and they can then battle out for number 2 and 3 in regards to string. Montgomery, yeah. So I reckon Robinson will probably fit into one of those where he'll have to battle it out at training camp.
Yeah,
like he got 2 years, $8 million. Now I think the wording of the contract is that it's more of a 2 years, $4 million. But I wouldn't say it's an uncuttable contract. It's definitely not. But it's also, he got a bit of money,
there's a bit of commitment.
There's a bit of commitment there, it's not something that you think twice about. You'd have to think twice about cutting him if you're tight to the cap. He's got something. I think he's definitely a buy low player. You know, they're taking a risk on him. He had that Achilles injury.
Yeah.
The Jags new regime didn't want anything to do with them after a really promising rookie season, and he didn't do much with the Jets. But he was traded mid-season. I think it was around the trade deadline as well.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, I don't think he really maybe didn't fit there. Maybe he still wasn't fit from his Achilles injury, maybe. They do say the Achilles injuries, it's not the year you come back, it's the following year that you kind of get back. And also, as a running back, do you really ever get back from an Achilles injury? It's supposed to be, there's very few running backs that really come back successfully from an Achilles injury. Not saying it doesn't happen, it's just there's not many examples of it. So I'm surprised he got the money that he did from us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you potentially, if you could recover any of that form that he had with the Jags, you've got a very good running back as a number 2, like a very good. You've a starting caliber running back as a number 2. But we'll see. I don't mind it, but I'm a bit. It's a risk, but it's also low risk as well.
Those are exactly my feeling. I don't mind it. But I'm not super excited about it. I'm pretty sure this is going to be good for James Robinson. There's a good chance he runs for. He's a big contributor. This is the perfect situation for him because he's had these 3 years in the NFL, injuries, and now he comes to a stable organization that kind of want to utilize every player for something, and he's going to get utilized. And he's going to be super motivated. That's because this is what his career comes down to. If he can play well with the Patriots, his NFL career will be extended.
Yeah. So moving on to a couple other little signings that we did. So moving on to more the offensive line, as Luke touched upon. Now we got Riley Reef. So I think he's a 10 or 11-year veteran. So with this one, I think because we're going to let Wynn walk, so I think he is officially a free agent now.
Yeah.
Although Wynn is more of a left tackle, do we put Riley on the left, or do we look at putting Trent on the right? Sorry, Trent on the left, and then
as
on the right.
As it sounds now, Dave. That's as it stands now. I believe we're going with Brown on the left, and then there will be competition for the right. Probably Connor McDermott, but Riley Reef, he will compete for that right tackle position. I think that's where they want to play him.
I think
we got that Calvin Anderson as well. Came in as well from the Broncos.
He'll get a chance to compete for a backup position, and if something happens, he'll get to play.
I think Reef with the contracts that he got, I think it's a 1 year, $5 million. I think they're really kind of penciling him in there, the right tackle to start, and it's his job to lose. Not saying that he'll keep it, but I think the contracts they gave him as an experienced regular starter for his whole career. Yes, he's on the wrong side of 30. I think it'll literally just be probably and we'll wave you goodbye at the end. Maybe we draft somebody to sit underneath him or to back up Brown. I don't see us having Brown or Reef with us at the start of next year. I think they'll both be future endeavored, but that's just my feelings on it. I think he'll be around for the full season. I think he'll start.
I think one of the major issues with Brown is that obviously last season we played him at left tackle, but he's only paid like a right tackle. He's not paid like a left tackle. Now, how many times? There was at least 4 occasions when I pulled Brown up and went on our show after a game when he just let his defensive end just breeze by him and blow back out the water. You know, that screwed up play in the first game against the Dolphins. They all, Brown just stood there as his defensive end ran past him. I'd move Brown out to right tackle, to be fair. He's less of a liability out there, that's for sure.
But yeah, all that I don't disagree with anything of what you've said, but the fact of the matter, he is the best tackle at the moment. So you want to play your best tackle on the left side. So on the left side,
if he's our best tackle, that says a lot about our tackle. Core. If he's the best we've got, then we need to improve.
Yeah, definitely. But he is at the moment. He is the one. He's the best player on tackle. But he's not a better O-line than David Andrew. That's a different question. But
yeah, I think like they've been. I mean, realistically, they tried to replace Brown with Wynn, and it didn't work because Wynn was a bad player. He just wasn't.
They had to get Cannon back.
Yeah, and they had to bring Cannon back as well.
Yeah,
to help out.
Wasn't ideal. That wasn't ideal.
So, and I agree with you, Nick, on Trent Brown. I think I think last year you saw it. There was a lot of escalators in his contract for games played because he has a habit of missing a few games every year, and there was times he was going out in the field, and I think he was quite sick. I think for a few games last year, and he still played. And I think the feeling was that he was playing the games because there was escalators in his contract, so he was just going out there knowing full well that he wasn't up to it, and just going, well, I played the game, so you have to pay me. Now, I also think, look, there's a dearth of talent in the NFL at tackle. There's not a lot of good left tackles out there.
No.
You really kind of have to go in the first round to get a good one. And
I was going to say,
I think Trent is
half first rounders.
He's middle of the road left tackle. He's not gonna play perfect. He's okay. He's fine. He's not going to get Mac killed. He's not a turnstile. He's gonna give up sacks though. He's not a Trent Williams. He's not even close to him. But he's okay. He'll do for the year, I think. I think you hope that we either draft a guy in the first round this year or maybe the first round next year and just go, goodbye, Trent. It's been real.
Yeah, it's been real. I like it. Well, yeah, he's the 16th best left tackle in the league. That's where he usually stands. So there's no long-term solutions right now at the tackle position unless Calvin Anderson or just develops into a starter. So we need to find the tackle in the draft. I think.
Yeah.
And then just lastly for me was the other noticeable re-sign that we did, which made me very happy, was, well, obviously we heard about the release or the retirement of Courtney, but then we re-signed Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
So he will be our, favourite to be the prime replacement for Devin McCourtney as safety. There is talks as well about getting Jonathan Jones to be moulded into that position because he would probably fit quite nicely there as well in that position, which then might point us to getting someone as a cornerback in the draft. That's where I think I see ourselves at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a good re-signing, especially with McCourty leaving. So we got Peppers, and Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggar and the Bledsoe.
Brian, I think about Brian. Didn't he resign as well? Or they
Miles Bryant, but I was thinking about Joshua Bledsoe.
Yes.
He's still with the team, yeah. But obviously Duggar will be the main starter, probably a strong safety. And then it's going to be a competition between Peppers and Adrian Phillips. And I like Phillips a lot as well. But we can potentially have a very good safety.
I mean, Bledsoe, apparently he's right. The dog's bollocks, but he's always injured, or we've never actually seen anything of him on the field. So,
well, I said this last summer when we were going through.
This is why they're keeping him, I think.
Yeah, when we were getting close to the main roster spots and whatever else, when we were in that last preseason game, I was saying how Bledsoe was sticking out and how well he was playing, and that at this rate he deserved a roster spot. Now he didn't get one; he ended up on the practice squad. But if you've lost DMAC, there's a space there, and I don't see how you cannot give him a spot. He's proven that he's good enough, fast enough, and reliable enough to deserve one of those positions. I think we'd be foolish not to give him one.
Yeah, I agree. Unless he sucks, I agree.
I think something we have to watch out for as well is that Duggar, Phillips, and Peppers are basically all strong safeties. They're not free safeties.
Well, Adrian Phillips, isn't he a bit more free safety?
I think he can kind of play more in between, but he plays. I think he was signed initially as a free safety when we signed him, but I think he's nearly predominantly played as a strong safety for us. And I agree with you. I think he's played free safety in the past, but I think with his age, I think he's like 32, 33 now. Like I don't think he's going to be the free safety, the starting free safety. I think they'll kind of have him in as that big nickel. He can cover he can play quite well in the nickel. But I think we've kind of got three guys that are very similar. Three very good players, though. I mean, I'm delighted. I am same as you, Henrik. I love Phillips. Every time I see him play, I think he does something well. I'm delighted as well, DJ, like you said, with the Peppers re-signing. And Duggar, I think, is probably one of our better young players.
Yeah, I really hope
in that free safety position. There's not really anyone that. For me, the best one was Harmon. He was great at that. Which he is. I think he's a free agent now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he's a free agent at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me to see him come back, but he
put Jonathan Jones there. But
I think I'd rather keep Jonathan Jones as a cornerback because we are quite limited at that position.
But I'd like to see Jonathan go back to being a nickel. That's what he's best at. Draft a cornerback in the first round and play Jack Jones opposite him, and just see.
We released Mills, so I reckon either one of the two Jacks must be doing. They must think he's
one of the two Jones. You mean
Jones? Sorry,
yeah. Well, Jack Jones is going to be a cornerback, and then we'll see about Marcus Jones. I believe he'll be a cornerback as well, but obviously the Patriots are going to utilize him in more ways than one. But I mean, that's essentially our corner. We have three cornerbacks, and they're all named Jones. So it's funny. It's quite funny.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, if you look at even the other guys on the roster, like Miles Bryant was tendered. Miles Bryant, we know what he is. When he's on the field, he's a weakness, but they like him. He's a decent special teamer. He's extremely versatile because he can play safety in a pinch. He can play corner in a pinch. He can play nickel in a pinch. That's why he's kept around.
Yeah.
Sean, we've seen nothing of, and then the other two guys are Quandre Mosley and Rodney Wright. They were both futures contract signing, so they mightn't even make it to camp. You know, you don't know of these guys. So I really hope that we go with in the first round with the corner, not biased because I love cornerback myself, or was, Jesus, not for a long time. Cornerbacks. So I do think we need somebody to play opposite Jack Jones, because I think if we go into season with Jack Jones as our number one, it's not a good idea. I think Jonathan Jones as our number one last year, I think he tried his best and he did as good a job as he could have been expected to be. It wasn't a good job in the grand scheme of things. He was fine, but the bar was low, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I mean, he did a serviceable job,
yes.
and sometimes he even played.
You need
really
to be
well.
better. You need to improve in that position.
Yeah, a real you'd see there's a huge difference between Jonathan Jones and Stephon Gilmore.
Yes,
it's just like it's almost like they're playing two positions. But I think this was an important re-signing because I think he is a quality player, even though he's not a shutdown corner. He's a quality player, and he is a Patriot. I mean, he has that mentality. He gives everything for the team. He puts the team first, and if he's good, then you need to keep. In addition to that, it's a good player to keep with the team.
Ultimately, you do realize what the biggest decision of the summer is.
Go for it.
Do I get Duggar on my new shirt or do I get Andrews on my new shirt? I don't know. You know,
you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong there. There's no way.
I'd be worried about us not re-signing Duggar. At least Andrews, is under contract. Duggar jersey.
You are thinking exactly like I'm thinking, Luke. Kudos to that. You're thinking exactly
Duggar has
how
to
I'm
get
thinking.
re-signed.
We have to keep.
But do you pay a strong? Like the thing is that he's a strong safety. Do you pay strong safety is not a big money position, and I don't want to say they're 10 a penny, but they're low value kind of players. They're almost like the running backs of the defense. They're seen as kind of the least athletic defensive backs, which is funny because I think Kyle Duggar is actually probably the best pure athlete on defense. But that's how they're seen. And you'd wonder, okay, does he come out and does he look for 10 million a year? And I kind of go, I don't think I'd want to, as a GM. I mean, personally, I want to keep the guy on whatever contract he gets paid. I don't care. I'm a fan and not a GM. But if I was a GM, do I want to pay a strong safety 10 million a year when I already have Jabril Peppers? He could probably do a slightly inferior job, but I could use that extra 5 million to pay somebody else. That's like I'd love to keep him. I'm just thinking, what would you do? Not what would I do?
You have to make some investments, and if you're not gonna re-sign a homegrown player like Kyle Duggar, then who are you ever going to resign? I think he has the potential. I think he's close to being one of the best safeties in the league. So I know 10 million, but maybe it's not 10 million. Maybe it's 8 million.
I pulled that figure out of where.
I think the Patriots front office, as long as he continues improving, they have to get him re-signed almost no matter what.
I don't think you can go wrong, Nick, from either. I think they're two very good players, but I think the only thing with Andrews is that how many more years has Andrews got left? I'm being
he signed a 4-year deal last year, didn't he? And I think 3 of those years were guaranteed, so he's got at least another 2 years.
Get Andrews. Be safe.
Let's be fair. I'm still rocking my Gronkowski one, so I
as you should.
I think my most recent jersey is Gerard Mayo one. I think that's the most recent Patriots jersey.
That's those are great players. I mean, how can you not like Gerard Mayo?
I've got a Gronk, I've got a Brady, and I've got a Barmore. I had a Barmore last year.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
I want to get a Gilmore one.
You wanted, or you still want
No,
to?
I still want to get one. I love Gilmore. I
Yeah.
still think he's the best. I think he was for the time that he was with us.
Yeah.
I think if you can, I still think he's the best corner that we've had since in my time of watching the Patriots. I know we had Revis, but I don't think Revis was that.
It was one
Revis.
season. It was just one season.
Yeah,
But-
and I don't think he was that good compared to Gilmore's peak. Would say with us.
Yeah.
He's obviously the better player.
Yeah.
Did he sign
And
for
Gilmore
the Colts
won
this
the.
summer?
Yeah. No,
He
that's
got traded
No,
to the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah, but like he was a defensive MVP. Gilmore was. That's incredible. It's not important to me, these awards, but it makes me kind of satisfied and a little bit proud when a Patriots player becomes the best player. Like when Tom Brady won the MVP, that always made me extremely happy. And Gilmore having won the Super Bowl and been the MVP the next year, that's great. He might get into the Hall of Fame, and I think he'll choose the Patriots as his main team.
I'll vote for him anyway. When I get my vote, I'll vote for him.
Me too. I won't vote. I can't vote, but I'll vote for him still.
I'll be on the committee. Be one of those
Okay,
old
so
guys. Sorry.
you touched on who we've signed, who we've let go, and who we've who's been cut, etc. So I'm just going to go around the table and briefly, if you can just let me know where you or who you think we should be either one signing from a free agency list or someone that we should be trading for before going into the draft in a month's time. So is there anyone in particular that kind of stands out, or you feel that we should be going out there and getting because they would slot in 100%? So I'll start with Emmerich if you want to go first, mate.
Yeah, by all means. In terms of free agents, there's no one in particular. I mean, I know Odell Beckham, Bobby Wagner, these are Pro Bowl players. They're still available. But no, I mean, I don't know that much about. I haven't seen any free agents in particular. There's a couple of cornerbacks. There's a guy called Shaquille Griffin. He's fairly good.
Decent.
Yeah, and obviously Isaiah Wynn is available. So no, thank you for that. Thank you. But receiver.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind a trade. Either with the Broncos or the Cardinals. With the Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins, I think a 4th rounder is what I would like to give, but 3rd round at the most, but no more than that. I would not give a 2nd rounder for Hopkins just because he's
I think
32 years old.
The Cooks trade that happened the other day from Texans to the Cowboys, that did put, I think, Hopkins' value slightly lower, or where they or even Judy's ones where they're asking for. I think Broncos were asking for a 1st.
Yeah, and I could, and I would. Sorry, DJ. Just in terms of Broncos and Jerry Judy, I completely understand the Broncos wanting a 1st round pick. That's what I would expect, especially since he's so young. Out of Hopkins and Judy, I would prefer Judy, and I would be willing to give a 2nd rounder, but not a 1st, not this year's 1st round. That's for sure.
Agree. So you'd go wide receiver. Okay, Luke, mate, any thoughts?
Cornerback. I think what the Patriots will do is go tackle in the 1st round. So I think there's a couple of decent, I would say, experienced cornerbacks that maybe are a bit on the downswing of their careers, but could still kind of give you something. I know Ronald Darby last year, probably, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I know he wasn't playing much last year for the Broncos, which means you could get him on a relatively cheap deal. He is a very good cornerback. Either him or Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters is boom or bust anytime he plays. He's going to get picks. He's going to give up He's going to give up big plays. It's just, can
Yeah.
he make more plays than he gives up? Do you want that kind of guy as your number one cornerback? Probably not. I'd prefer to take Ronald Darby.
Okay.
That would be my choice. Or even Shaq Griffin. I mean, Shaq Griffin's there. He's 28. He's a year younger than the two guys. Any of those guys, I feel like. I mean, ideally, I'd Christian Gonzalez is the guy who's wanted us to take in the draft, but I feel like we'll take a tackle. I think Gonzalez will be gone.
Well, let's just get back to that at the end. Nick,
Nick.
who would you like for the Patriots to sign or trade?
Having already voiced my displeasure at Mr. Brown, I'm now willing to cart him off for a pack of Doritos and a packet of Skittles. And in exchange, I'm willing to trade for Jonah Williams of the Bengals, who's already upset because Orlando Brown has just come in and nicked his job.
Yeah,
so Williams doesn't want to play right tackle. He wants to play left tackle. Now, the Bengals have already said Orlando Brown is going to play left tackle. So
yeah.
I don't want to pay a ransom for him. But
No.
if the guy wants to play left tackle, you can come to the Patriots and play left tackle, and I'll drive Mr. Brown to the local supermarket for his bag of Skittles on my own.
Yeah, and I'll give you a shout out on social media for doing that. I would love that signing. I would love for the Patriots to trade for him.
But I think in that scenario, I'd be targeting a corner in the draft. But because I don't see any corner that's currently on free agency that screams at me that it's worth it. When we had all that cap space and we bought Hunter Henry and we bought Jonnu Smith and we bought Kendrick Bourne and only Hunter Henry has panned out really.
And Matt Judon, don't forget
Judon. I apologize. Yes, Judon as well. So it's having all this money isn't a guarantee that you're going to hit the jackpot. So, and as the Rams proved, use your first round picks and go and get proven players. So depending on what Jonah Williams would cost, I'd be quite happy to go after him.
Yeah, I know. I would like him as well, but it should be less than a second rounder. Is what I'm.
Oh, I don't know. I'd give up a first rounder for him, but that's it. I won't give up more.
The 14th. You would give up the 14th for him?
No, I'd probably trade down a little bit and then trade it.
All right.
I'd maybe trade what? 18, 20, 22, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So if you can maybe trade down a little bit before you trade for him, that'd be where I'd be looking at going. But
I'm just going to say, for me, if it's going to be higher than a third rounder, a second rounder, or a first rounder, if it's going to be one of those, it's going to have to be for the next year, not this year, in my opinion.
See, the thing is, as well, you'll have to pay him. They've picked up his 5th-year option, so he's due a contract, and if you trade for him, you're he kind of has you by the cojones, because you have to give him the deal, or else you've wasted that pick. If you get if you give anything more than a fourth or a third or a fourth from, if you give a first or second, you have to pay him. Otherwise, it's a terrible, terrible trade.
To me, that's kind of why it makes so difficult to do these trades, is because you're giving up a lot of draft capital on another player potentially, and then you have to pay the contract. So that makes it, to me, that's why a player like Lamar Jackson, it's kind of off the table, because you have to give up so much.
Is it?
I'd do it tomorrow. Look what they had to do for Russell Wilson. That's your example.
No, but
Whatever they gave.
He was going to be my thingy. I was going to put.
Yeah, I thought about it last night.
Right, you go, DJ. So you tell,
Yeah.
tell us.
I know I get a lot of fucking stick for this, but especially from Ollie when he finds out. I say we put all the chips in now and we make the change now. We're not competing the Bills with Allen. We're not competing with Miami's. I know we've got Tua, but their team is it looks nice. We're not. If Rodgers goes to the Jets, sorry, we're going to end up fourth next year in the AFC.
Yeah.
If I was
it would look like that, but
if I was Bill right now, I say, fuck it. That's excuse my language.
But
we've got to go all in right now.
It's the best take you've ever had. Brilliant.
But I think we should go Rap Taylor instead. The safety.
If you were going to do that, DJ, I don't disagree with you. But if you were going to do that, the thing to do would have been to trade Mac to the Raiders before they went and got Jimmy G, because that's where he was wanted,
Well,
and there was this thing about.
But can we not trade Mac in a deal with Lamar now?
Yeah.
No, because the Baltimore offense is not built around somebody like Mac Jones. You would have to have you would have to give up 2 first to get Lamar, and you'd still have Mac on your books.
Someone will take Mac.
I think he's gonna end up at the Colts, to be honest.
Through Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar came out today and said he's ready to move on.
Jeez.
I think he's going to end. I think he's going to end up. I was saying
the third overall pick, you see,
but he doesn't have any leverage because the Ravens have the leverage. They just need to franchise tag him, and
Vikings was another dark horse as well.
Yeah, that's if I was the Vikings, I would go for Lamar, and if I was Lamar, I would go for the Vikings.
Yeah,
or I would just stay with the Ravens. Probably the best decision.
Yeah, I would love to have Lamar. I would do it in a heartbeat. You just, like I said, you just look at the Russell Wilson thing and you go, they were looking for more.
The thing is, if we do go Lamar,
who could we have drafted? Hang on a minute. Sorry. Who could we have drafted 5 years ago?
Lamar.
Who could we have drafted?
Here comes Nick's rant.
Sorry, I can't quite hear that because I was having this conversation.
You won't hear any dissenting voices.
No.
Here.
No.
Well, from across the Irish Sea.
Tell you what. Let's spend 2 first-round picks and God knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars to get Lamar Jackson, who we could have got for absolutely diddly squat 4 years ago. 5 years ago.
I mean, it sounds to me like you're all convinced that he's going to be a Super Bowl
winner. No, it's just
winner.
It's not that. It's just that. Yeah, it is that part. Yeah, it is. If we want to make any contention to the Super Bowl,
I'm not convinced that. I'm not convinced.
My worry is
DJ,
that Mac, if he's not our guy, will be in this predicament again when we could have got Lamar.
There's a fair chance that Mac's not going to work out, but personally, I believe he's going to be very good the next season, unless he's injured, and then all bets are off essentially. But no, I'm not sure Lamar will ever win a Super Bowl, and I'm not even sure if he'll play on a high level for the next 5 years. And that's kind of, if this was Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, yeah, I'm down with the 5 first-round picks. But Lamar, he's still got ways to go, in my opinion, and I'm not sure. I think he's great, but
are you high? Did you just say 5 first-round picks for Herbert?
Yeah, well, obviously, I was exaggerating.
Yeah,
I take.
For that, I was going to say.
Obviously, I was exaggerating. Has there ever been a trade like that? Come on, be serious. But no, I'd take Herbert. I'd take Allen ahead of Lamar Jackson.
But I just think doing this Lamar thing now just shakes up the whole AFC side.
But guys, do you really think that's all we need?
No,
That's
that's
Lamar.
fine.
We need a team.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
If you get
So
them
if you
off,
trade
you're
away
still not gonna have
2 or
weapons.
3 first-round picks and probably more, I mean, how are you going to build your team? And how are you
No.
going to sign free agents? I mean, this is
I'll
not.
flip it back on for you, Henrik, right? I think with Bill Belichick as our coach, right, and the players that we have in the roster and that we have on a contract for the next 2 or 3 years, we will be bang average, right? We will never be in a position, we will never be bad enough that we're in a position to draft a top flight quarterback. So our only way of acquiring a top flight quarterback is to trade for him, right?
Most
I
likely.
don't think Mac Jones is going to be the guy. If you look at our division now, you assuming Rodgers is in there,
Yeah.
Mac Jones is the 4th best quarterback in there.
Yeah.
He's only kind of close. Like the only quarterback that's close to him is Tua, and I still think Tua is a better quarterback.
Yeah. Tua is a good quarterback.
And I don't think Tua is all that great. I don't think he's amazing by any chance.
No.
He's still good. I just I know I want to give Mac Jones this season, right, to see how he is.
Okay, question to you all. Nick, maybe. How much do you think it's going to cost for us to go maybe top 3 in this year's draft? How much do you think we're going to have to pay? 3 first rounds?
Great question. This year and 2 years. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
How much has the Bears just paid? Panthers just given the Bears?
Yeah, and
the Panthers just gave up 2 first rounders, a
2 seconds,
rounder, and DJ Moore.
Okay,
right?
would you just not give 2 first round now for Lamar?
Yeah.
Rather than moving up the draft
wouldn't.
and getting Young or Strode or.
I wouldn't out of principle for the fact that we could have got him for free 5 years ago.
Okay.
So out of principle,
build a bridge and get over it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
no. I'm gonna die on this hill. I am willing to die on this hill. I'm sorry. I said we should have signed him when we had the chance. He could have had a year behind Brady. We should have done that. We didn't. It's gone. Lamar doesn't exist anymore. He's not in the Patriots. He's not in the Patriots circle.
Except that he does.
He does, but not inside our circle.
The way I put it, right?
Do you not see it's cheaper though to get the 2 first rounds for Lamar than jumping up the draft for?
Way cheaper.
No, because I feel those first. Bill will do what Bill does. I guarantee you. We will not pick up 14. We will end up picking at 16, 17.
Yeah,
he will trade down for more picks. That's what Bill does. I'm surprised he picked Mac when he did, because I expected the Patriots to trade down a few spots. The fact is, Bill will.
I was very
happy.
Pick.
Bill, I'm not. Oh yeah, I don't dispute that, but it does not surprise me that Bill will get more picks and move downwards. You are not going. The fact is that the Patriots need a complete and utter overhaul. We said this last season. We said it. It was said in the media the year before, where when Brady left, that the Patriots were in some trouble. The years of. And I don't want to say it's not Brady's fault, but the years of pandering to Brady and giving him proven players like Harrison and getting the old guard players who have been there, seen it, done it, and paying those, and is left us with a team that is vastly under quality and needs overhauling. And the only way you are going to do that these days is through the draft. You cannot overhaul an entire team in free agency. You need to draft well, which we can't do because GM Bill is crap. You need to draft well, and you need to be wise and clever about how you spend your money. And while the Patriots have GM Bill in charge, we're not going to. So I don't know what to say. I don't want Lamar Jackson. I wanted Lamar Jackson way back when. I don't think he suits the Patriots now. And you spend all that credit on Lamar Jackson, you've got nothing to go and get what he needs because he needs a completely different. You
Yeah.
can't play Kendrick Bourne in a Lamar Jackson offense.
Yeah, and Lamar will
Bourne,
not win the
Parker,
Super Bowl
Juju.
on his own.
I think it's enough.
I don't know. I have faith. I have faith in Mac Jones. I think he's going to be very good, unless he gets injured. If he gets injured, his career with the
Right.
Patriots is over, just like that.
I won't be
This
disappointed if they do it. But
This
I'll be.
podcast can serve as evidence. I stand by this statement right now. This podcast can serve as evidence. If the Patriots hit double figures in wins this coming season, I will pay every single one of you £100. The fact is, the Patriots are nowhere near good enough to be anywhere but last in our division.
No, I completely disagree. I think we have the best defense, and the defense is going to be better. Number two, the offense is going to be better. It's all about Bill O'Brien and if he can get the best out of Mac Jones. And do not underestimate Mac Jones. You guys, next year you're going to be like, oh, Mac Jones, Pro Bowl player, got us into the divisional playoffs, got a 12 wins. He was very good. I don't see how anybody could have ever doubted him, and I'll be the only one who could say that. In truth,
I think if I think one of the smartest moves that was made in the NFL in the last few years was, now don't misconstrue this as the second move, but the first move was the Cleveland Browns moving on from Baker Mayfield. Right? They knew they had a first-round pick. They'd invested all this time and effort and capital into him, and they said, he's good. He's pretty good, but he's not going to win us the Super Bowl. We've tried surrounding him with all the talent, and he's not going to win us the Super Bowl. We need to move on. Now, I don't agree with the Deshaun Watson thing. I agree with the going out and getting a quarterback, right? And trading for the guy that you believe is the guy. I do not. That guy, we're all in agreement here about how our feelings about that guy. Let's move on. That's why I said, and that's what I want the Patriots to do, is to identify that Mac Jones isn't the guy and move on. Because the worst thing you can do is to hamstring yourself by paying a mediocre quarterback. When was the last time a mediocre quarterback won the Super Bowl? And don't give me the Joe Flacco, because Joe Flacco was playing out of his absolute mind that time for the Ravens. The last time,
2002 Buccaneers.
It's Dilfer.
No, Brad Johnson, and then
Brad Johnson. Sorry, with the Bucks. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then
that's the last time a middle of the road quarterback won.
Yeah,
you need a top level quarterback, and we don't. Even if Mac Jones gets to Pro Bowl level, he's going to be a Pro Bowl alternate. He's not going to be. No, 2 seconds. He's not going to beat Josh Allen. He's not going to beat Aaron Rodgers. He's not. He'd have to be better than Tua, and then you go, is he going to be better than Mahomes? Nope. Is he going to be better than Herbert? Nope. So and that's presuming he's better than all the other quarterbacks in the AFC. You can. There's no way you convince me he's going to be better than any of those guys that we listed.
No, but here's the thing. Andy Hart says this all the time. In order to win the Super Bowl, you need a top quarterback, or a top 5 quarterback, or a top 5 roster. That Mac Jones might.
You didn't either.
Well. But hold on a second. We could get a very good roster, and Mac Jones could be part of that. I think he has potential. Yes, he might not be Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes or everything.
You see, Henrik. That's
hold on a second. He doesn't need to be, because you have many Matt Stafford. He's a very good quarterback, but he was not a top 5 quarterback.
I think he was the year they won the Super Bowl. I think he was.
Well, I think Mac Jones can match that. I'm not going to say that. I think Mac Jones has the potential to be that. If he's we'll see. I think if he stays injury free, because I think that's what's going to stop him. I think Mac Jones is going to put up great numbers. What I'm looking at, Luke, is if Mac Jones will be able to lead the Patriots from behind. That's how I'm going to measure him. If he can get the Patriots back in a game where the team is down, can he lead the Patriots to a comeback victory? If he can do that, then I have my answers. Then he can play. Then, like Bill Belichick says, he can play quarterback in the NFL. Yeah.
Last thing for me is on this is that he's had 2 years to do it and he hasn't done it. I understand he was a rookie his first year, and the second year he was in
got screwed.
But
Got screwed by
like they say, if he doesn't bite when he's a puppy, he's not going to bite when he's a dog. And
I like that.
That, like, at some point in that, if you think he was that good, he would have raised the level of the players around him. He plays to the level of the players around him. And if the players around him aren't good, he's not good. And if the players around him are great, he's not going to be able to. Like, we haven't seen anything where he's like, right, he's dragged us to a victory.
Yeah, I know. I'll admit that's my concern. But that's what hold on a second, guys. That's what a quarterback needs to do in order to be a good quarterback. It's to lead the team when they're down. It's when the rest of the team is down and not feeling good. The quarterback raises the team. And I agree with you. I don't disagree. He has not shown that he can be that type of quarterback. And that's what concerns me most after him being injured. He's going to have to, if he can do those things, then I think he can be a good quarterback in the NFL. If the Patriots have a good roster, yeah, he can be part of a Super Bowl winning team with the Patriots. But I admit I am concerned that he doesn't have what it takes, because God damn it, last year, even though the team sucked, there was times where the team sucked because of Mac Jones, because of his decision making, and that bothers me. But for everything I've heard him say and the few good things I've seen him do, I think there's something in him that will make him raise his level. He will not have the rocket arm, but he might have the most accurate arm, and that's what he has going for him, to be accurate and to be cool. He needs to learn from Tom Brady.
Right, I shouldn't have brought out Lamar now. Right, so
you should not. You should not have brought up Lamar.
We can't talk about that this show.
No, I but yeah, he's a great player, but he's not going to be a Patriots player. I bet.
Go for it, DJ.
Right, so the last question of the show is draft position, right? So draft, if we're going to draft someone, what position?
Nick, I think we're going to trade down. I expect us to trade somewhere between where we currently are at 14 and 22. I would favour somewhere between 18 and 22.
But what position?
I don't know who. I think corner. I think we're going to go corner.
Okay, Nick.
Okay,
Luke. Sorry.
I think if we stay where we are, I think we'll be in play for one of the cornerbacks and our left tackles. I think if we trade back, I think you're kind of getting into the JSN, Zay Flowers kind of area. If you're going to go early 20s, you might be able to get Jackson Smith and Jigba in the early 20s. You might have to go late teens for him. I think if we stay at 14, it'll be a left tackle. If we move, unless one of the cornerbacks falls. But again, I'm with, at an overall level, I'm with Nick. We trade back.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So to me, if either of following players drops down to 14, Paris Johnson, Christian Gonzalez, Will Witherspoon, Broderick Jones, or Joey Porter. Take one of those 5s, and I'll be happy. I think only one of them will be available, but there's a good chance none of them are available. If that's the case, trade down to 18, 20, and I'll be happy if they take Zay Flowers or Jackson Smith and Jigba or Quinton Johnson, although I like Flowers the most out of those. So ideally, I'd go for, at 14, I'd go for Christian Gonzalez, a cornerback, or a left tackle. But after that, if we're trading down, probably wide receiver Zay Flowers or Cam Smith. He's a cornerback. So that Cam Smith's too early to pick at 14. And same with the wide receivers, too early.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my gut instinct's telling me that I think we're going to pick up 14. And we're going to go. I think we're going to go tackle.
Any tackle you have in mind? Sorry.
No, there was one that I was looking at.
Broderick Jones?
No.
Skronsky?
That's the one. Skronsky, yes.
He's kind of projected to be kind of the third tackle. And I'm always like, if you're picking middle of the first round and you're getting the third best guy, I'm always kind of like, and his physical shape is now.
He concerns me.
Very Isaiah Wynn-esque.
Yeah, he concerns me.
Right. He's 6'4" and he's got short arms. That's exactly what the scouting report on Wynn was.
Yeah.
If we was to drop and go for a tackle, I'd go for Broderick Jones. He's looking around, I think, 20 mark. Yeah, so he would drop a bit if the protections are right. But I think in the first round, I reckon there's a lot of O-line that are going to go off the board really early. So I think it's going to be, and then there's not much depth in regards to like third, fourth round, fifth, sixth pick for O-line. So I reckon we go in early, stay at 14, maybe drop a couple, like you say. But I think we're going to go tackle. If not, then I say we reach out to a CB. Maybe I like Porter quite a lot. So he fits. Then again, I like the wide receiver. Is it Smith?
Smith and Jigba.
Him.
Cam Smith.
He's the one that's. There's a lot of people saying that he just fits the Patriots, the way they do things as a wide receiver.
Right.
But does Bill go wide receiver round 1? Look what happened with Harry.
Disaster. Yeah. But
anyway, like I say, I'd like to get a show out week before the draft, so we'll get together again and we'll discuss all the possibilities of what we're going to do round 1 and round 2, and then we'll just we'll take it from there. Do you need to add anything else before we kind of close off, wrap up?
I think we covered everything.
Yep.
Everything. Yeah,
who are we getting in as punter? We need another half an hour.
No, we need not to worry about that. We'll just take whoever's available. But yeah, it's hey, we can congratulate Devin McCourty with a great career, and Dante Hightower. It's a year late, but it's been great watching them play, and it's sad, but it's what a career Devin McCourty has had, and we'll just focus on McCourty now. But Hightower's great, but McCourty had a great career with the Patriots. What an amazing guy and player! So, what a great honor to have such a player with the Patriots.
Yep. So that's it from us. Going to get ready to sign off. Just like to thank you all for joining me as the first time as like a proper host, I'd say. For the audience, like I say, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. So please give us a visit, like, share, notification, hit the bell, all that lark. But yeah, we'll like I say, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time to wrap up what we see, a preview of the draft. And then we'll discuss there where we feel we're going to be. So other than that, thanks for joining us. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
Take care.